So in the fall of 91, Roma is gone from the WWF. Do you remember how Hercules reacted to Roma leaving? I mean,
I wasn't there. I wasn't even there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I wasn't even there.
Showed them walking papers. So Herc's still on the road as a singles wrestler in the early 92 and more as a tweener role, including a pretty famous match from Madison Square Garden where he wrestles Sid Justice. Herc gets up immediately after being pinned by Sid's powerbomb. And I know you weren't there, but when something like this goes down, is there usually some sort of an uproar in the back? I mean, I know we've heard a lot about unprofessionalism and killing the business and all of that with regards to Madison Square Garden and activity that happened in the ring, but that does feel like a big no-no. Just pop right back up.
Yeah. I actually never saw it, never heard of it. So I really don't know.
Well, his final match of the company is the next fucking day. He lost to the Berserker in Worcester. And, it feels like he just knew he was done and didn't really care. And honestly, he probably didn't look like the Hercules of old. And maybe that's because this is the height of the steroid scandal. Well, in the spring of 92, he shows up in WCW under a mask as the Super Invader. Harley Race is going to be his manager. He's supposed to be an Asian assassin type character, but he only lasts a few months. I know you weren't there, but did you see this in WCW? Because it feels like a really random use of Hercules.
Yeah, actually, no. And as you're talking about it now, no, never saw it. Now you're going to make me have to go look it up.
So he goes to New Japan for a while in 93. He teams with your old pal Scott Norton as the Jurassic Powers. And he also worked in the ill-fated AWF from 94 to 95. And he's really just working independent shows here and there until 02. He's also working a real job, of course, selling cars. I think he's a bouncer. He was a meat delivery truck driver. Just became a normal human, if you will. He's no longer a traveling rock star. And in November of 94, the Observer would have this to say: lots of talk about Hercules coming in as a Cuban gang member from Razor Ramon's past feud with him. Was this all rumor and innuendo? Or do you remember this ever actually being discussed?
Never being discussed.
Okay.
That would be one of those things that Dave was probably sitting there and doing whatever it is that he does that makes him think of these lies and just printed that one.
Do you remember his name ever coming up in the WWF in the late 90s? Like when you guys were bringing back characters like the British Bulldog and the Anvil and Boss Man. Does anything ever come up about Hercules?
I don't remember Herc being active during that time, for it really even to come up. So, no, I really don't remember that because, again, it's usually when guys are active and they're still doing stuff that you can see them and it gets to the forefront. But I don't remember Herc being active at that time.
It's kind of surprising to me he never popped up in WCW. It feels like fucking everybody who was once any sort of name in the WWF wound up there, but 'tis not the case here. Unfortunately, Ray Fernandez passed away on March 6, 2004. He had heart disease at the so young age of just 47 years old. And it feels like he's been universally liked, man. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say a bad word about him. He had a pretty decent run with you guys up there for a little over 6 years. In your opinion, given, the heyday being what it was, and some main events on pay-per-view, some main events on Saturday night's main event, should Herc be in the Hall of Fame one day?
I do think Herc should be in the holiday one day, in the Hall of Fame one day, because everywhere that Herc worked in the territories in WWE, he was able, at least for a period of time, to be on top and be involved in a top story, whether it was in a long time, whether or not he ultimately connected with the audience or not. I think that he was in a story and will always be remembered and is deserved of a Hall of Fame nod. Yes.